Hello everyone, welcome to this Alibaba Cloud Academy Day online conference. This is the quick start guide of Alibaba Cloud Data Warehouse session, and I will introduce the most important data warehouse products, DataWorks and MaxCompute, which are not only widely used internal Alibaba group, but to our customers. I am your host for this session. My name is Derek Meng, and I'm a big data trainer and architect in Alibaba Cloud International. This is me here, and there is a brief introduction that shows why I'm here to deliver this session. I'm very excited to have this opportunity to introduce what we're doing about data. Hi, just to show that I'm a real person and you're not facing something like artificial intelligence behind your screen. Okay, let's get started. In this webinar, we are going to cover 4 parts. We start from data and tools evolution to see how big data technology become what does it like today. Then to introduce the big data development and situation in Alibaba Cloud. In the third part, we will introduce the data warehouse applications and solutions, followed by a quick start guide of Alibaba Cloud, MaxCompute, and DataWorks. Okay, let's go into the first part, data and tools evolution. Let's first take a look at the data. As recently as the year 2000, only a quarter of the stored information in the world was digital. The other 3 quarters were on paper, film, records, magnetic cassette tapes, and the like. So in 2019, the amount of stored information in the world is estimated to be less than 5% is non-digital. According to some estimate, only 5% of all digital data is structured. That is, in a form that fit neatly into traditional RDBMS, which we called Relational Database Management System. Without accepting messaging, the remaining 90% of unstructured data, such as weblog, web pages, video, audio, remain dark to us. As the form of data is changing, the corresponding data management tools is changing as well. From punch card and to the hard disk, because human cannot directly talk to the hardware, so we need a software which we call file system for us to talk to the hard disk. We cannot modify one file in file system concurrently, so we need something like database. As the data become bigger and bigger, so we need something like distributed system. And the Hadoop comes out. And in 2008, Hadoop became the top-level Apache project. Hadoop wants to be the first choice for Alibaba Group to deal with its large amount of data. But start the year of 2009, we create our own data platform called Apsara. We will cover this topic later. So basically, we are using the relational database to store the structured data. So we pay lots of money to buy the license from Oracle and some other commercial database company. Or even we hire most valuable people to maintain the relational database to support our business. But as we show in the last previous slide, and we have unstructured data grow very fast. Relational database is not designed to support those large amount of data, so we need some cost-effective hardware and applications to deal with such large amount of data. As an auxiliary to database, we set up an analysis system for large amount of unstructured data. So in single instance, we have file system and database. And in distributed system, we also have distributed file system and database. Grace Hopper, who was the first person to create the word bug to stand for the program error in computer science, had a code that described the importance of distributed system. That is, in pioneer days, they used oxen for heavy pulling, and when one ox couldn't budge a log, they didn't try to grow a large ox. So we shouldn't be trying for bigger computer, but for more system of computers. Nowadays, as cloud computing become the most important infrastructure, we are not only moving the single instance to the cloud, we are also moving the distributed system into the cloud. Let our customer focus on their business. Okay, let's move the second part. I will introduce the big data in Alibaba Cloud. At the beginning, Alibaba is an e-commerce company, just selling some stuff on the internet. At the beginning, we built our business based on Oracle database, and as the business growing, we move our data system from Oracle database to GroundPump, which is the distributed relational database system. And even the GroundPump cannot afford those large amount of data. We move the system to the Hadoop ecosystem. And the servers in one Hadoop cluster grows to 5,000. And it will have a badly performance downgrade. We cannot fix that. So in the 2009, we decided to create our own data platform, which we called Apsara. The 2009 is actually the first year of Alibaba Cloud, and also the first year of Alibaba Group Double 11. In 2013, we can break the bottleneck of the original Hadoop. We can have more than 5,000 servers in one Hadoop cluster. We've been upgrading our system over the last few years until we will see what they look like today. This is actually the portfolio and the relationship among Alibaba Cloud Big Data products. It's all-in-box big data development, governance, management, and analysis platform refers to the DataWorks in the middle. It can support many data process engines like Data Warehouse, which is MaxCompute. For streaming data process, we have real-time compute. It's actually Apache Flink. For Hadoop ecosystem on cloud, we also have the eMapReduce. There's a machine learning and deep learning platform. We have Pi. For interactive analysis, real-time OLAP, we have interactive analysis. For graphic computing and full text search, we have graphic compute and Elasticsearch. And today we are going to focus on DataWorks and MaxCompute. Okay, let's move to the next part, data warehouse solutions. Companies employ many different applications to run their business, such as Enterprise Resource Planning System, which we call ERP, and Customer Relationship Management System, and which called CRM, or web-based applications. All of those systems are typically designed with separate tier for data processing and data storage, as shown in the figure. The applications are usually connected to external services or face human users, or continuously processing incoming events such as orders or mail or click on a website. When an event is processed, an application reads its state or update its state by running transactions against the remote database system. Typically, a database system serves multiple applications, which often even access the same database or tables. As the transaction system, like the traditional database, is supporting our business, so it cannot afford, we are doing lots of analysis over the same system. So we move those data into another place, like usually it is called data warehouse. And we are using the data warehouse to do the reporting, ad hoc queries, and for some other data consumers. This process we called ETL, which stands for extract the data from business system, which usually refer to relational database. And T stands for we do some transformations during the process and load it into the data warehouse system. We can also call the process ETL or ELT. The T and L can usually exchange their places to fit for different business scenario. And we can do this process on the cloud, and we provide an online data warehouse application called MaxCompute. To put it simple, MaxCompute is actually a data warehouse. It is a cloud data warehouse in Alibaba Cloud. You can consider it as Hive, Apache Hive in Hadoop ecosystem, but it is on cloud. It is more powerful than Hive. MaxCompute can support you are using Python programming language and Java, and also, of course, SQL. It can also support you do some machine learning based on MaxCompute. And it can also, you are running Spark job. We currently support 2 versions of Apache Spark job, which is 1.7 and 2.3. For the updated information, you can take the official document for reference. Okay, that's all for the introduction. Let's go to the demo part. First, we navigate to alibabacloud.com and log on with your account and password. We find product called DataWorks. And go to Workspace. There's a second tab. So the region, we chose US Silicon Valley, and we create Workspace. We choose MaxCompute pay-as-you-go as compute engine and the machine learning for AI. Next, we give the workspace name and choose environment to development and production. For other options, we left as default, and then we create workspace. We may need to wait less than half minutes to let the workspace initialization done. We can use the refresh button to monitor the status. After the status change to enable, we can see there are several actions for you to choose. First, we go to data integration because before processing the data, we need some data. We can see there are some options for you to choose. We go to connection and we add connection. We can see there is a connection already exists. We click add new connection. As shown in the screen, there's a lot of some other data source for you to choose. First, we are going to choose OSS as our connection, which is one of the 2 connections we are going to use for today's demo. We enter the connection name, which is customized by yourself, and we choose the applicable environment as development and production. And we going to fill some other information like endpoint, bucket, access key ID, and secret. Then we test the connection. If it is everything is okay, we click complete. If you want to know what does it mean as endpoint and some other parameters, I think you may need to go to some OSS document for reference. I think we do have some video courses which is for free for the information of the OSS. Now we are going to create our second connections, which is MySQL database. There are several types of MySQL to choose. We choose Apsara DB for RDS, which is the Alibaba Cloud version of MySQL. We also need some parameters for you to connect to the MySQL. You can see we have two more connections which we are going to integrate some data from those data source. After creating the connections, we're going to create some jobs to synchronize the data from those data source. We go to Data Analytics. There's a lot of information in this page. And the first thing we are going to do is to create a business workflow. We enter workflow name and descriptions if you like, then create. First, we are not going to the details of the component of one workflow, and we just drag and drop the first component, which is zero load node, which is actually do nothing, just indicate the workflow start point and the end point. Next, we are going to create two integration job, which means we integrate the data from the data connection we just created. One of the connections, we are going to integrate the data from RDS, which is the Alibaba Cloud database. The second connection is we import some data from OSS, which is the object storage service of Alibaba Cloud. We start to create a workflow, which means we do the data integration from the two data sources in parallel. Then we need to do some configurations. Double-click the task node. We can see the configuration page. The first thing we need is to specify the data source and the target. We have data source, but we need a target. So we create a table in MaxCompute. Because MaxCompute is actually a data warehouse, is a database. So we use table to load the data. We're going to create two tables. We select MaxCompute component of this workshop, which is one of the workflow we just created. We give it a table name. And commit. You can use the options and configurations in this page to create one table, like partition, like the column and column type. We can also use the DDL statement, which is more convenient for if you're already have the DDL statement. The DDL is stand for the data defined language, which is like the create table. And then we generate the table schema. After that, we commit in development environment and also to production environment. Remember at the beginning, when we created the MaxCompute, we chose development and production environment for the environment type, which means in one DataWorks workspace, we actually have two MaxCompute projects. So which is for development and the other is for the production environment. Now we use the same procedure to create a second table. We have already created one table to load the data from OSS, which are the log data from maybe the web servers of your application. And this table, ODS user info, is actually used to load the data from my SQL database, which also called RDS in Alibaba Cloud. The data from the RDS is some user profile data. So we create a table with some information to describe one person, like the UID, gender, age range, something like that. Generate this table schema and also commit in development environment and to production environment. Okay, now we have the data source, which is the data connection we have created at the beginning. Now we have the place to load the data. Where is the data target? Now we are able to configure the synchronization job because we already have the data source and target. We double-click to enter the configuration page of those two data synchronization jobs. Okay, let's see how to integrate the data from OSS. So we select the connection type as OSS and choose the data source we just created at the beginning. And we give the file name and the file type. If we have a specific failed dilemma, we'll enter that. We can use preview to check the connection. For the target, we chose the connection type as ODPS and select the table in the ODPS. So about the ODPS is actually the previous name of MaxCompute. Remember, the first time we are going to create a connection, we go to data integration. When we go to the connection page, we can see that there is a connection already exists by default. Just like the first line, the ODPS first. So this is actually the connection for the DataWorks to connect it to the data warehouse application, which is MaxCompute. There is two connections for development and production environment. We choose the target table and convert empty string to null, and we can see the column mapping. There is a channel. Some parameters for channel for us to choose. Save the configuration for this synchronization job. And we do the same thing for the data synchronization from the RDS. We choose the connection tab as MySQL, and the connections we created at the beginning. There's two tables in this source. So we chose the first one, user info. You can use where clause to enter some filter, and use preview to see if we can connect the data source successfully. The target is also the ODPS, and choose the connection with ODPS first. Choose the target table. And we can see the column mapping. Okay, we have successfully configured the two data synchronization job, and we can submit this workflow. And commit this workflow to the scheduling system. Oh, we see some arrows. Let's click to see the detailed error messages, which is input and output empty, which means every node, a job node, should have a parent node. So even your start point. Because the two synchronization job already have the parents, which is the start node. And there they have a destination, which is the two tables we are created. Right-hand side bar property indicate the configuration page of one job node. And see there is a dependency settings. We can set the root node for the starting node of this workflow. Just like the file system in Linux, we use root as the beginning of every path of file system. We can see there is output node already exists. We go back to workshop workflow page and submit again. Okay, we have done for this part. Let's try run to import some data from those data source. You can just click run. The arrows become animated to indicate the data integration is in process. We can also right-click the node and to view log to see what's going on during the process. We can see that the data integration from RDS has finished. Okay, data integration has done. Next, we're going to check if we import the data successfully into our MaxCompute tables. We go to the left-hand sidebar to choose ad hoc query, and we create a new ODPS SQL. which means we can write down some SQL statement to launch some ad hoc queries. Let's try to select some data from those two tables. The first one is the log file. We issue this circle statement by clicking Run. Okay, the execution ends. We can see the final result. Remember at the beginning of creating this project, we use pay-as-you-go mode. So we can use this expense estimate to see how much it will cost according to this single circle statement. Okay, we can get the result, and also we can use data analysis according to the result you have selected. This is actually the data analysis component of DataWorks. We can do some statistics and using just like Microsoft Excel in DataWorks. Let's go back to the dashboard. We have done for the data integration part. Let's see what we can do more. We already have the log data we import from the OSS. We can see there is a one long string, just one column in MaxCompute table. We're going to separate the long strings into each column of this new table, which we named log info. We use the DDL mode to just enter the circle statement. It's all about the information belongs to one line of log, like the IP address, UID, timestamp, URL, and protocol, something like that. We also commit to development environment and to production environment, which means you can see this table in both development environment and in production environment. Okay, let's go back to the dashboard to add one new node, which we call the ODPS SQL, which means we are going to use the circle statement to manipulate the data from upstream table. We can define the workflow to choose those synchronization job as his upstream task. We double-click this node to enter the code, which indicate how we are going to process the log data. We can see that we are using the internal functions like the regular expression to extract some field from those log data, and also some to lower, maybe to put some strings to a lowercase. We save it and to try run. Before that, we need to submit. Because we already have submit the 3 nodes we have done before, and we just need to submit this new node we just added. Okay, we've done this successfully. And then we go to the dashboard to try run this node. Because we have already run the first 3 parts, let's go directly. We can right-click this node and run current node or run current node and its descendant node. We met with an error, and it's about one user-defined function called getRegin. It is not an internal function, it is a user-defined function, but we didn't to define this function first. So we are going to define this function. The user-defined function is another topic. So MaxCompute can support a user-defined function, which you can use Python code or Java code to write your own code logic to manipulate each column, like the IP address. We go to the workflow, and we go to MaxCompute, and go to resource, and we create a jar package resource, which means we can use the Java to write down some code and to compile and to tar it as the jar packages. We can upload the jar packages to as our resource. We can define lots of methods in one single Java jar packages. So the next step, we are going to create functions based on this resource. We create function, and we give a function name, which we can name it getRegin. Then we go to the register function configuration page. We can choose the function type as other and enter your class name. And the resource name. You can also write down the expression syntax like our getRegin function. So this function asks for one parameter, which is supposed to be IP address, and it can convert this IP address into region information. Like which country does this IP address come from? We save it. And we have already used in our code. Let's go back to the dashboard and to run this node again. As indicated in the log area, there is a log view link. We can go into this link to check the detailed information of how does this job run. We can see the job status is running. We go into detail. We can find how this job distributed in the cluster. And if you're familiar with Hadoop MapReduce, you can actually see this is a map phase of this job. We can see this job is finished successfully. Let's go to check the result. We go to ad hoc query to open the query dashboard we have just created. We write down another SQL statement to select some data from the table we have just loaded data. Okay, we can get much readable information than the log info in the raw data table. Okay, let's go back to review the whole procedure. First, we create a workspace in DataWorks, and then we create two data connections followed by two synchronization jobs to import the data from OSS and RDS. And we are using another data manipulation node. If you want to do some more, you can continue to create more data node to manipulate the data. There are many other components and functions in DataWorks, like you can change this black theme to white one. There are many other useful and interesting functions and components in DataWorks we are not able to cover today. And DataWorks provides one-stop big data development, data permission management, and like machine learning by leveraging those components listed in the screen. Welcome to open Alibaba Cloud account and try this one. It won't cost much and we offer coupons. Okay, that's all for the demo part. Thanks for watching. Thank you everyone for watching my session at the Academy Day online conference. Hope you enjoyed the session and learned a lot of useful information about our products and service. If you have any questions about this topic, you can submit them by using the Ask a Question box on the right. We would like to invite you to claim your Alibaba Cloud product coupons by clicking on the March promotion banner. Please note that those coupons are only valid in the month of March. Or if you are ready, click the button below to start a short test for this topic. By successfully completing the test, you can apply for the recognition of attendance certificate online. What's more, you will also have the opportunity to sign up for the ACA offline examination for free, which is only available today. Thank you very much again. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.